Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Indy Superstar Spotlight. Well, if I messed it up, I apologize, but it happens anyway. So, like I was saying, this is All Wrestling Talk Nation. We are glad to present Indy Superstar Spotlight. Yes, tonight's tonight. I told y'all, been promoting it on Facebook, putting it on the page. Thanks for the likes. We're appreciating the growingness of it. We have today with us on Indy Superstar Spotlight special guest Mr. Timmy Lou Retton from G.O.U.G.E Wrestling. How's it going there, Tommy? How you doing?
How you doing, Chris? Just making a little tad bit. It is Timmy Lou Retton.
Timmy, sorry. I was seeing Tommy for some reason. Someone sent a message to
It
me.
is completely fine, man. I've been called worse.
Yeah. All right, well, Timmy Lou Retton is our guest. He wrestles with G.O.U.G.E, guys. We're going to go into that in just a few minutes. Be patient, but I wanted to show that he is here on All Wrestling Talk, so thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, anytime. The pleasure's all mine. Ladies and gentlemen, real quick, we got sponsors and we got people that we want to thank for having the show on. Obviously, in All Wrestling Talk is the exclusive partner of Disciples of Christ Wrestling Ministries, and we will be there live Saturday night at the Lions Club in Winder, Georgia. It's DCWM's Feels Lucky. And trust me, it's going to be some great matches going to be provided. Tag titles will be on the line in the main event, where the Wicked Carnival will be going against the Young Guns. That's all I know right now. We got a few more matches that are in the works. Going to be there. Card's always subject to change, just like in every indie show we got. First things first, got to always remind the fans, please, 6 o'clock is the time the doors open. Come on out, be a part of what we do. Get to meet the wrestlers, and at 7 o'clock, the bell's going to ring, and we're going to start. And we try to have a good time. It's Wrestling with a Message, Disciples Christ Wrestling Ministries. We will be there, Winder, Georgia. Looking forward to it. Also, March 22nd, that's right, we're going back to Milledgeville for Shamrocks to Headlocks. I hope y'all come out there. We love the first time being out there. We're going to have some fun. Got some matches. We're already in the talks of some matches. Got some more guys coming. It's supposed to be a great show at the Fun Faction. So, with that being said, we also, All Wrestling Talk, I want to thank a lot of the fans and also a lot of the viewers. We have been booking shows. We are booked through March. Got April to go. Also, couple of 3 spots were taken already. Cannot wait for those wonderful people to be on the show. Tomorrow night, at the same time, Sean Nelson from Pro South, or SECW, will be here also. And on March 10th, we'll have G.O.U.G.E and Platinum Superstar Anthony Velvet Hall will be here too. And on the 11th, I will have, I hate to say a sex symbol, but, you know, hey, that's his moniker. Devin King will be here. He is going to be in the house on March 11th. No show on March 12th because that's the day of my daughter's birthday. I'm going to be spending it with her. So that's what's going on in All Wrestling Talk. Gave you a brief update of what's happening. Now let's get to the interview. And first of all, like I said, Timmy, this is what I appreciate, man. You know, getting to meet the guys, getting to talk to guys about the life on the road. Let's go ahead and just talk. Give us a brief introduction to you. You know, we're in Georgia, so we don't get a lot of G.O.U.G.E wrestling. I've been putting it out there about you. And by the way, I must say I'm very impressed with your abilities. I want to kind of, you know, we'll talk all about your moveset, everything you'd like to talk about. But just go ahead and give us a brief intro about you and, you know, how did you come into this wonderful business we call indie wrestling and how, you know, you've been going from there.
Well, Chris, as most of you really don't know, this is my first year in the business. I started back in February 2014, and I just been wrestling as much as I can. I started down in G.O.U.G.E, which is my home promotion. It's gimmicks only. Basically, it's a down south version of Chikara, but with a lot of very seasoned and very good wrestlers down there.
Yeah. All right, you said you just started. Who trained you? Who started your training, or, you know, how did you get your beginnings in the indie wrestling? Did someone introduce you to somebody? You got trained by someone? How'd that go?
Yes, I was trained by Seymour Snot. which he was trained down in California. I met him down at a G.O.U.G.E show. Actually, it was downtown Raleigh. I met him through Facebook because I was looking for places to train. First, I met Jimmy Jack Funk Jr. to see if he would train me, but at the time I was a little more timid and not very talkative towards him. Then I tried again with Seymour Snot,
Hmm.
and he just taught me basically everything I know today. So if Seymour, if you're listening, thank you very much for everything.
There's no problem with that. Let's go ahead. Like I said, I normally have my co-host, but he's having to run, take care of a few things. Let me go ahead and ask you, because this is a question he likes to ask. When training, when you first started, what was the hardest part of your training? Was it just talking? Was it getting used to being out there in front of people? What was the hardest part about being in the business?
I'd say the hardest part would be taking compliments in a sense of people saying that I was good for a rookie, things like that, and I didn't want to get too big headed and not appreciate compliments that I was getting because one of my other trainers, ATL, he had always told me to stay humble no matter what. So when I was getting compliments left and right, I tried my best not to get full of myself, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So I just take as much compliments as I can and not be one of those egotistical guys that shame professional wrestling.
Yeah. So, all right. Now, what was like the moment when you're into wrestling, you're learning? How much time did you have from training to actually getting in the ring? Because a lot of guys they have a struggle. It's like sometimes they get in this, they think, oh, I can get right into the business. See, this is what I could do, and it's like they don't understand. You have to. There's a process. How long was that
Right.
process for you?
For me, it was about I believe, 6 months because I have an amateur wrestling background. So things where most people had difficult times learning, I could pick up on things quickly. So it really didn't take much time for me until I was ready to be at my first match.
Okay. What was it about, all right, you said you had an amateur background. I also noticed you have an amazing skill of gymnastics, and I'm not even being funny about it. I really am. I mean, that is pretty damn phenomenal watching that. You're quite flexible. What challenges, we talked about the challenges you had, just being timid, but physical challenges, were there anything, even though you were in amateur wrestling, even though, you have a great background in that, was there something that maybe it was like, I don't want to say a challenge, but it was like very difficult that you had to draw upon that did make it tough for you, but you still overcome it?
I'd say the conditioning part. I hate running so much. I hate it with a passion. But my trainer Seymour instilled in me that as much as you don't like it, it's something that you'd have to get over because there are going to be matches where you're going to be exhausted, you're going to be tired, and that's when the conditioning kicks in. How hard have you been working? How much have you been running? How much have you been conditioning to prepare? You're ready for this. So I'd say the conditioning would be something that I was having trouble with the first couple months.
Okay, well, that's definitely an understanding. I mean, that ring, I've told people, you better respect that ring, or you'll feel it in the next day. Moving
Exactly.
around, getting used to it. All right, let's talk about. And I get it. You fresh off and everything. It's all good. Tell me this. What, starting off, what has it been like wrestling? Talk about, like, what are your, like, favorite venues to work? What are areas that you've been able to go to and you've enjoyed a lot? What are those spots for you?
Spots I would say I enjoy the most would be the first one is Firestar down at the Raleigh Brewing Company down in Raleigh, North Carolina. The fans down there are so fun and they're awesome. It's a mixture of pure wrestling fans and occasional fans that just come to have a good time and stuff like that. But they're so drawn into the matches that even if they're not the biggest fans of professional wrestling, they'll end up loving it even more, and they're always coming back. Um, Another place I would say is Firestar down in Greensboro, North Carolina. The fans down there are very old school and they're very passionate about wrestling. The kids are a blast. Um, they're just a big energy and they're fun to perform in front of.
All
Places
right.
like that.
Well, I mean, a question that I have for you, I mean, like I said, normally, I'm just asking, what do you prefer to play? Do you like the heel? Do you like the face? What is it, what in wrestling is what do you love about it? Is it the fan interaction, being able to connect? What is it about it that just gets you going?
I'd say I'd love drawing the emotion from people. It's it's a thrill, like getting people riled up or either behind me or people wanting to see me get destroyed is just something that I've always been a big passionate fan about. Just the raw emotion about the wrestling. Fans coming in to see you like, oh, I love this guy. Oh, I hate him. I can't wait to him get his upcoming stuff like that. If anything, when I first started, I wanted to learn both aspects, face or heel. So wherever I go, I was able to do both
Yeah.
because not a lot of people can do a heel, or not a lot of people can be face. So I'm trying to do both and master both sides of the coin.
Yeah. One of
But
my.
if I had to choose,
Mhm. Yeah.
if
What
I
would you
had to
choose?
choose, I'd be heel all day.
Oh man, see, everybody wants to be a heel. That I tell people that's probably the funnest time to be is a heel. You know,
It
back.
is. It really is.
Yeah, you ever want to see a whole locker room happy is when you say you're working heel, you're working heel, you're working heel. You see everyone looking like they got new cars from Oprah. So
Exactly.
I got to tick these people off. Yeah. And all right, I got to go here. Because yeah, I definitely understand the heel aspect. So let me ask: have you been in a work environment? When you're about to go out, you're the face, and you try, or you know the guys that had to do this because you could always see that person that just does. Oh, I got to do this. They are heel, but they can't get the crowd to hate them, or the other way around. He's a face and he's trying to get the crowd to love him, and they still boo him. A la a certain guy that we can't see up in the Big E. But
Right.
I'm just saying, you see some guys where they say, all right, we're going to turn you heel, and it just doesn't work. It's just struggling. Have you seen it? Have you witnessed, or have you been in that position? How
I've seen it on 3 occasions. One being a close friend of mine, where they needed him to be a heel and he just couldn't pull it off. He has like the a baby face, no pun intended.
Yep.
Like he has no hair, he has short blonde hair, blue eyes, just the all American boy, and they wanted him to be heel, and he couldn't to save his life.
I mean, oh, that is one of those things. Also, getting some text from some guys that are asking some questions. One guy wanted me just to ask you. Um, so working, what do you predominantly work as? Do you work as a face? Do you work as a heel in G.O.U.G.E? What do you come? That's what someone
As of
wanted me
right
to
now,
ask you.
as of now for Gouge, I work as a face. When I first
Okay.
started there, I was a heel, but people pertain they like my work ethic. They like the way I carried myself in and out the ring, so they just drew more to like me there. So I'm a baby face at Gouge.
All right. Now, here in All Wrestling Talk, we're not like exclusive. I mean, we have the deal with DCWM where, we do wrestling, but we're a Christian wrestling organization. But what I like to ask every wrestler, every indie wrestler, if I told you, don't worry about your gimmick, you could be what you want, what promotion would you want to work though? That means, Japan, all Japan, um, WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor. What would you feel? This will better suit myself. I could see myself going really over here, or I could see myself working very well here. What would be a spot that you would like to work? What out of those possible moments or promotions?
I'd honestly choose Japan.
I'm gonna. I want you to give the answer, but I'm gonna tell people this. I'm not telling people to say this because every show we've had, everyone has said Japan, except one person. That was Fred Yehai. But he said Japan would be his second option. So, but go ahead. I definitely like hearing why.
I choose Japan namely because I've seen a lot of people go from there and just come back transform into another wrestlers or wrestlers. I'll give you an example. The Bravado Brothers. When they first started in Ring of Honor, they were the All-American, doughy, happy-go-lucky guys. But soon they went to Japan. They come back monsters, tag team specialists, probably one of the top tag teams in the independent scenes right now. And it just changes you. It makes you better. It makes you want to achieve so much. I'm not saying that as in you don't want to do that in WWE or TNA or any other places. It's just from my aspects and the people I've seen, they do great things over there. I'd say D.H. Smith when he was in WWE, not the best at the time because he was still relatively new, getting his still finding himself in the business.
Yeah.
Later he gets into New Japan or Japan, tag team champion in Japan as well as NWA World Tag Team Champions. Showing full potential to where he wasn't, I wouldn't say able to at the time with WWE.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, it's nothing against WWE, but and also that answer's more popular than what one would expect. I know when I asked that question, I'm not any more surprised about it because in Japan they take it. It's like not only do you take it so seriously, but the people in Japan take it seriously, and it's a great thing. I would love to go down or go across seas to check out a live Japan show. I mean, you go through YouTube, you can watch, but so much you can see on YouTube. Sometimes it's just different when you feel it live. You know what I mean?
All right.
What about, all right, so let's talk about this. What superstars? We could talk the E, we could talk Japan, even indie guys, Ring of Honor, TNA. What guys, I want to say inspired, maybe also kind of made you go, man, I think I could do that move, but I could do it just a little bit better. And I'm not saying you're better than the person. I'm just saying, you see it and you're like, oh, I could do that. I know I could do this. Go ahead and shoot.
Wrestler that inspired me, I would say Too Cold Scorpio.
Oh yeah,
At the time, nobody were doing the moves that he was pulling off. He was so far ahead of his time, it's ridiculous. He is the #1 dream match in my list of people I would love to work. So if I ever had a chance, I would love to work Too Cold Scorpio. Or Flash Punk, or whatever you want to call it.
Now, I remember it was Too Cold Scorpio, and I agree with you. You are totally right. WCW days, he has some classic matches, and I got to tell you, man, you said it perfectly. I think him and Brian Pillman were definitely ahead of their time. And by the way, you've never seen Too Cold Scorpio, watch him. I'm not talking about the Flash Funk dancing bit. I'm talking his matches. He really was good, and so was Brian Pillman. And I must say also, another guy that reminds me of being ahead of their time are someone to watch in Japan was Jushin Thunder Liger. He would actually have matches with. I believe he had a match with Too Cold Scorpio. So if it's out there, you definitely
Yes,
want
he
to
did.
watch it. He is. I'm telling you that I agree with you. That's a good one. I like that. That you don't hear that much of him, but yeah, he is a good one. He definitely has a good definitely had a good moveset and just had a good presence about him. That's what I remember about him, and I
About
really like
all
his
that
work
is,
ethic.
and the scary thing about all that is, he can still go. Like, I'm
Oh
watching some of
yeah.
the stuff from now, and he's still a monster. I just watched this match from, I think, National Pro Wrestling Day with him versus ACH. It was amazing.
See, I mean, look, if it's in you, you're gonna want to do it all your life. It's just one of those things. Some guys are in it for the money and the fame, but some are just in it because they want to be inside that ring. What? Let's go
Yes, sir.
ahead and ask. Learning. You probably, I had a guy who was like 59 who's still wrestling. He's in his 32nd year of wrestling. So, definitely the spectrum is definitely have on the show. My question for you is this: being in the business, you've been in the ring now. Have you had moments where you're like, I know this guy just did not just do this to try to teach me a lesson or try to poke me or try to stiff me, try to provoke me. Has that happened in the ring for you? How you take care of it, gave the man a receipt. Moments like that. What you got? I mean, you don't have to throw someone under the bus. You don't have to call their name out, but you can just say, well, there was a time, but
I'm thankful to say that right now, no one has ever tried to stiff me or embarrass me and stuff like that. As there are a lot of people around me and guys that I've been in the ring with that want to see me be better and achieve greater things. So I haven't had that unfortunate moment as I've heard a lot of people of my cohorts, people stiff them, hurt them on purpose, or try to teach them a lesson.
yeah. Well, I mean, my thing is this, man. Just when it happens, it's like really people, but it is something that guys, sometimes as my buddy says, just because I'm big or I'm small, don't mean I can't stiff you. I'll find a way if I have to. And it's like,
Exactly.
don't think just because I'm a small guy you could just throw me around. So I just like asking that question. I like to always know what people think. Another question, wrestling. What are you? And by the way, folks, this is all Wrestling Talk Nation. This is Indy Superstar Spotlight. Brian Titus is not here tonight. He will be in. I know. I'm hoping tomorrow. If not, next week will be definite. But I wanted to throw out there, and Timmy Lou Retton, not Tommy, but Timmy Lou Retton is here with us. So, wanted to ask you what are your favorite matches of all time? What are matches that I mean, you can even mention matches you've had, but matches. When I say what's your favorite, what's the match that maybe Too Cold Scorpio could have had it, or someone had that made you just go, "This is why I'm in wrestling," and then transfer that over to so far in your career, what matches have you had that just made you go, man, you had to take a few minutes to calm yourself down because you were still hyped, you felt that energy from the crowd, and you could still walk through walls if you had to. So,
Perfect example, the match that made me want to become a professional wrestler. Davey Boy Smith versus Lord William Regal, Halloween Havoc. That match was so well thought out, so well planned, and the finish was just masterful because it had you at the end, the edge of your seat. Like, oh, British Bulldog's gonna win. He's gonna win. 3, 2, 1. Time runs out. I lost my mind, and that was the match that made me want to become a professional wrestler. If you haven't seen it, please go look it up. Probably one of the best matches between two great, great men, two great professional wrestlers, and told a wonderful story.
mm. All
The
right.
match
What about?
and
Yeah. Go ahead. I was about to remind you about the match. Go ahead. I
going
apologize.
towards the matches that I've been involved in, I would have to say the match between myself and Mickey Gambino It was downtown of Raleigh, North Carolina, 4th of July. I have to guesstimate over.
All right, guys, just maintain. We're good. This happens periodically on the show where we have a little bit of stutter. I'm about to reset. We're going to try to get back to Timmy over here. So, just give us a second. I apologize. This happens. No big deal. We got this. We're going to see. Give it a little bit so it resets, and then I'm going to reload it myself. We're not going anywhere. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hello. Hello.
All right, there he is.
Hello.
Yeah, we got you.
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, it happens, man. Don't worry about it. I got it. We got it fixed. I beat up the cameraman for it. Don't worry about it.
Okay. But yeah, I would say the match between me, Mickey Gambino, downtown Raleigh, 4th of July of last year. That'd be one of my best matches I've had thus far, as well as a match I've had previously at Pro Wrestling Now, promotion down in Fayetteville, North Carolina, between myself and Chikara star Lindsay Dorado.
Okay.
I would say that would be a close second, probably one of my favorite matches, because that was I believe my chances to prove that I can wrestle with some of the top names in the independent scene. The match went well, people loved it, and I would love to wrestle Lindsay again if given the opportunity.
Who are your dream opponents, maybe of right now that are out there? Is there a certain guy that, man, if I say, hey, you got a match with this guy, you like, man, let's do this. How much do I owe you? Type of deal.
Number one, of course, Two Cold Scorpio. He's still
Yep, yep.
He's still wrestling. So as long as he's wrestling, he's always going to be my number one dream
All
opponent.
right.
As well as professional wrestler Joe Black. He's been down to Georgia plenty of times, I believe. His work ethic is amazing, and I would love to be in the ring with him on any given opportunity. I'd say Trevor Lee. I think our different styles would clash well. Cedric Alexander, Ring of Honor star. I've been
Oh, man.
in the promotion down in PWF a couple times, as well as PWX. We've been in the same locker room, but we've never been in a match before. So if anybody's listening, any promoter is listening, I'd gladly be in those matches with those gentlemen.
All right, all right. And now look, Cedric Alexander, I got the privilege to go to a Ring of Honor show and got to watch him. Wow, he is him, ACH. I mean, really all those guys. I'm very impressed with them. It's definitely you're right. Cedric Alexander, I'm very impressed with him. Now let me go ahead and ask you. Let us find out what is your style. What is your style? Are you a power technician? I keep hearing you talk about telling the story. So I know it's got to be something where you definitely are technical to the point where you want someone to, when they see a match, they can see what's going on. There's no need for promos. But, maybe I'm wrong. You can tell me, but, I want to know.
I think my style consists of being high flyer, somewhat technician, with a flair of elegance, throwing in the gymnastic aspect of it. But I was trained to make everything make sense. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd say a technician
All
for
right.
the part.
So
I've
do
been
you
throwing in
fix? Yeah, go ahead.
I've been throwing in different things here and there, but if I had to choose, I'd say technician.
So you like now? Do you fancy yourself more of the submissions expert too, or you have when you're a technician, you can that's kind of like you work the arm, you work the leg, whatever you need to, up, down, however. Is that something you talk about? Is that something that you kind of feel that more that defines you?
I wouldn't say submissions. I'd say more of my aggressiveness because
Okay.
people assume that I have the gymnastic background and I have the gymnastic gimmick that I'm just flipping around doing every such thing. I can do that, but I want to let you know why I'm doing it, of why is
Yeah.
the reason behind that,
All right.
things like that.
What All right. So what inspire, some guys have, you have a gimmick, you kind of, father it, you nurture it. So what kind of birthed your gimmick? What made you go, I want to go with kind of the all-American, but with the flair. Well, what can I do? Like John Morrison brought the parkour element into wrestling. Too Cold Scorpio brought that high flying ability there, along with a ground and pound. You see what I'm saying? What
Yeah.
is that style like? Is your character? If I've never met Timmy Lou Retton, and you're telling me about him, who is he?
Timmy Lou Retton is professional wrestling's only male gymnast.
Okay.
The son of Mary Lou Retton and son of Carl Lewis. Born to be a champion.
All right, I like that actually. I gotta say that I like that. That's pretty cool actually, because when I told the guy who I was interviewing, I told one of we have a meeting before our shows. Actually not before our shows, but actually, the day before I tell people what I'm going for, and they're like, "Oh, who you interviewing?" I told him I was interviewing your name, your wrestler name, and he looked at me. He's like, "What is that, Mary Lou Retton's child?" And he smiled. So you say that now? I'm gonna look at him and go, "Yeah," and they say hello. All right. Now we're gonna get fun. We're gonna have a little good time here. What were like funny or basically I like to call them the only on the road or only in the indies. This happens. It could be a horse kicked over the power plug and. We got to get a farmer to come plug the generator back up and put some oil in, but he can't because his tractor's got a couple of flat tires, and he doesn't want to move the moonshine bottles in front of the other vehicle he's got. Stuff like that. Have you ever? Not exactly like that, folks, but have you ever had just a moment where you're just looking at your friend or your road buddies, whoever you're with, and you go, "You believe that just happened?"
I do have one, actually. When I first started, my first big road trip was down to Elizabeth City, North Carolina. It was Joe Black, Robin Golfin Jr., and ATL as myself were driving down. Since I was the rookie and they were the vets, I was driving. I was doing all the driving. I drove. I picked Alton, Robin, and Joe Black up from Goldsboro. I asked Robin, could he put in the GPS where we had to be because I'd never been there before. That was my first time wrestling there. He had put it Elizabethtown, and we had drove 2 hours down to Elizabethtown. While we was driving, ATL was just saying something in my stomach doesn't seem right about this because he's been there and wrestled I think 2 or 3 times before, and he said this is not the way we drove. We went here. And at the time, I didn't say anything because I'm still the young boy, so I don't want to be disrespectful. So I just kept my eyes on the road driving. We get there to the exact place. We look around. There was no armory there, and we pull up. We pull up the poster saying where we had to be. It was Elizabeth City, and Robin had
Oh
put in
man.
Elizabeth Town. So when we actually put in the whole time where I had to drive, it went from 2 hours originally to 4 hours. So I just looked at all of them. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I didn't say that, but I just looked because I knew what was going to happen. They were going to go to sleep, and I had to do all the driving. I think I drove a total of 12 hours that day, and
Oh my Lord.
we barely got to the Armory. I was the first match there, and I had 5 minutes to put on. So that's probably one of the funniest stories I've had thus far. And every time I see Robin, I'm just like, "So you know it's Elizabeth City, right?"
Oh man. Oh. Yeah, I know those travel shows or those travel adventures, we like to call them missteps, and the person's like, "No, it's not there." What is it? And I gotta say, still, I love the whole, oh, let's look at it, city, not town, folks. Oh crap.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying. You're enjoying what you're in, and one day Japan may call, However, what would be a moment, or something like, what is one of your dreams in the business that you would love to be able to at least say, I was able to be there. This happened, and I'm glad I was a part of it. Do you have any goals and aspirations of that sort?
I'd say one of my biggest ones that would be in the independent scene would just be able to wrestle, and I'd say I'd like to wrestle for the Cauliflower Alley Club because they're
All right.
very well respected place, and there's a bunch of legends there where I can meet, greet, pick the brains of so many pioneers and legends that paved the way before me, and just have them see me
All right.
perform in front of them and get their critiques and what they like, what they didn't like, things that can make me better as an all-around wrestler as well as a person.
All right. Now, let's see. What, we talked about your dream match, we talked about the goals, and we talked about, driving to Elizabeth City, not Elizabeth Town. What are like places you would love to go? We talked about Japan, but anywhere in the States you always wanted to travel to. What is it that when you're being able to be in the business, you get to, what spot do you think you would enjoy going to, checking out the area? And don't say that place. Got someone yelling, Vegas!
No, Texas.
Oh, Texas. Oh, God. I'm going to beat you.
Am I wrong? Am I right or am I wrong? Texas is a good
My
town.
co-host finally shows up, by the way.
Texas is a good town to go
Welcome
to.
to the party, man.
You want to see old school wrestling? You go to Texas.
They can't see you.
Dallas, right outside Dallas, Houston, the Houston area, Dallas, Fort Worth area, they got great wrestling out there.
So what say you?
Okay. I would choose Chikara.
All right.
Mainly because the way the style and the gimmick that I have would fit so perfectly there. Professional wrestling's only gymnasts. Like, that's a wrestler made for Chikara. I'd love to be in the Young Lions Cup. I'd love to be in the Trios tournament, as well as...
By the way, you need to tell Father John. Hold on. You need to tell Father John. Mary Lou Retton and Carl Lewis had a child, and that's him.
Okay.
That's Tommy Lou Retton.
All right.
So just remember that.
I will.
I just had to remind him.
No problem. This is true. The excellence of elegance, Timmy Lou Retton.
So, all right. Yeah, we're about to wind down at the show here. This is where I kind of like to go. Well, hold on. Do you have any questions for him?
I wish I'd have been here. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I had kids to pick up. Got a brand new car today. I apologize for my tardiness, but so far what I've heard and seen, I have enjoyed your interview. So I'm not going to bore you with any more questions. I think he's covered about everything else. It's nice meeting you. I'm going to let you finish it up, Chris, and C-Double, and
Got to bring out my government name. I told you.
I'm sorry. But y'all finish it up. I like his government name a lot, too.
I tell you, I'm going to beat you, Brian Titus. That ain't your government name. All right. That's the whole joke around the house here. Well, I guess my next, couple of questions I want to ask you is, we just kind of talked about Shikara, talked about the wrestling in Japan. Just, man, what 2015, what are your hopes and dreams, or what is 2015 you want to remember 2015 for with you in your wrestling career?
2015, I'd love to challenge and win the G.O.U.G.E Heavyweight Championship. I am the G.O.U.G.E North Carolina Heavyweight Champion, but it's always good to have 2 belts. I'm not going to lie about that. As well as getting to prove that I was made to be in this business. I was blessed enough to get a chance to wrestle Lindsay Dorado this Sunday at CWS in Asheboro, Carolina Wrestling Showcase. I get to wrestle NWA's crown jewel, Chase Owens.
Chase Owens is a really good wrestler, man. So you'll definitely have some fun with him. Question.
I believe it was a great match.
Go on. I apologize. I heard my phone going. I thought. But outside the ring, let's now get there. What are some things you enjoy to do outside the ring? Maybe quirky, whatever, fun, just having a blast. Like we had Aja, who was a food expert. We had Fred, who just liked comics now, and we have some guys that just like beating people up. What's your favorite routines and stuff? What do you like to do?
Well, I just like making people laugh. I have a weird talent. I can change my voice to different aspects, different characters, and stuff like that. Making people laugh. I'm just a random person. You look at me and you just say I'm offbeat, strictly to myself, but that's not the case. I just love interacting with people. Get to know different things of aspects of life, what they're into, and just being an all-around good person, no matter what.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, go ahead.
And I love country music. I love it.
Well,
a man after my own heart.
Amen. We'll take that. Don't worry, I'm a Georgia Rican, and that's just a big white boy. So yeah, trust me, we ain't judging.
Thank you.
And I tell people we claim everybody, so don't feel so bad. So you good. Now, all right. Here's where it's gonna get good for you, man. I appreciate you being on the show. We're gonna get your Twitter out there. We're gonna follow you at Timmy Lou Retton. We'll make sure and get your Instagram out there on the website, All Wrestling Talk Web or allwrestlingtalknations.webs.com. That's my website. I'll be making sure it's on there for everyone to follow, because I want to know if someone wants to book you. You got a promoter that got Too Cold Scorpio, and he's going to have you in a match, and he's got to book you. So he has to go to my website. What's the best way to get a hold of you, man?
The best way to get a hold of me would go to my fan page on Facebook, Timmy Lou Retton, as well as my email, fcgm.1988@gmail.com. Those are 2 possible ways to contact me, as well as Instagram and Twitter.
All right, and I'm going to add you on Instagram too. Once again, man, I appreciate your time. Appreciate what you do, man. Advice that I've heard a lot of the wrestlers give other wrestlers, and it's just be my little thing to say to you. And you said it earlier: staying humble and work hard. People see hard work ethic. They see when you're humble, and they're gonna work their tails off to make sure that you look good. Put your matches out there, man. Put yourself out there. If you like, I don't have a problem having you on the show again. To promote any matches or anything of that sort. you're a good guy, man, and I hope, you know, the best for you over in North Carolina. And who knows, maybe one day we can get you down in Georgia, maybe work you into DCWM and see what you get to do, show off your skills. And, you know, man, I just want to thank you and appreciate the time you gave me to have the interview with you.
Thank you for having me. It's been a blast, and I appreciate you greatly for giving guys, just not myself, but other guys, avenues to showcase their talents and put themselves out there. So thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem, man. And like I said, anytime, you just contact me. But please, guys, check out Timmy Lou Retton, or Timmy Lou Retton. Sorry, I got Tommy in the back. Timmy Lou Retton on Facebook is his community page. You want to follow him. He's pretty cool. You definitely want to, you know, if you got his email down, jot it. Make sure you contact him. The guy's a really good worker. I appreciate what he does. And like I said, bro, I appreciate you very much, Timmy. And, you know, definitely do your thing. Kick butt, take names. You know, that's what it's all about. And just work safe. Make sure you leave the same way you walked in. That's the only thing I ask. So, you know, keep posting, and anytime, you know, All Wrestle Talk is open. If you ever want to do anything, just give us a holler, all right?
Will do. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right, no problem, man. It's been a pleasure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from G.O.U.G.E Wrestling's own. That is Mr. Timmy Lou Retton, not Tommy, but Timmy Lou Retton. And I'm C-Double, and I want to thank y'all for coming out, watching the show. Now, March 5th, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, we're going to have Sean Nelson. He's from the SECW Wrestling down in South Georgia, and also another Pro South promotion. You definitely want to check it out. Guys, we're going to have more guys coming on. Like I said, next week, we're booked all the way until March. April, we got Jesse Bell Smothers, Kathy Owens, and we got Pandora. We've already got them booked. Trust me, you want to get booked, you come to C-Double. Go to All Wrestling Talk Nation. See me. I'll get you booked. We'll get it posted. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for giving us the comments. I'm C-Double. I'm out!